welcome everybody here to the X-Bomb Sports live show. My name is Andrew Valentin, and I hope you're all having a wonderful Thursday. We are coming to you live, as always, from the Illinois Media School here in Lombard, Illinois. Again, wherever it is for you, ladies and gentlemen, day or night, I hope it is just right. And ladies and gentlemen, with me, as always, is the impossibly good-looking, the ever-amazing, and once again with me, as always, Mr. Drew Gwillem. Drew, how you doing, man?
I'm ready for some basketball.
Are you?
Yeah.
I mean, we got a lot of it today, man. There's so much going down
Wow.
just tonight.
Really? I had no idea.
Did you know we did football talk yesterday?
What happened?
Yeah, exactly.
That was a different day.
Yeah, just a real quick too, just so everybody knows, if you're wondering on any NFL news, just real quick news out there: Marquez Valdes-Scantling signing with the Chiefs, and it sounds like a second grand jury may be mulling the possibility of another charge against Deshaun Watson. So, and we won't get into those stories. This is not NFL news. That was yesterday, but obviously we'll follow up on that if anything does happen with it. But for right now, that is kind of the news. But Drew, you ready to start this off, man?
Let's do it.
Let's do this, folks. And the first half, we are doing the NBA. That's right. And we are doing, yes, the Chicago Bulls. And I wish I could say that with a little bit more of a happier tone, but lately things have not been going the way that many Bulls fans, including myself and Drew, kind of planned this thing to go, right? It has kind of been a bit more of a downward spiral. As of this moment, the Bulls are 3-7 in their last 10 games. They're 4.5 games back from first. And they are now 0-16 against teams that are seeded in the top 3 of the Eastern and Western Conference. So, obviously, a very, very hard stretch down the road here. We knew this was something that was going to happen maybe for March. It only seems like it's getting a little rougher, Drew. But what are your thoughts for the Bulls after they've taken their most recent losses now, and they've just started this 5-game road stretch that we've been talking about for a while? So how do you envision them going into this road? I mean, well, we'll get into the road stretch here, but just overall, what do you think of the Bulls now going in towards the end of the season now?
They haven't looked good.
Mhm.
Well, I want to say good. They haven't looked great over certain points.
Yes.
Here. They've had their games to most recently Toronto.
Mhm.
They looked pretty good against Toronto. They
Yeah.
won by a nice margin. Zach attacking the rim, playing well. Vooch scoring some threes.
Yeah, that was nice to see.
3 in a row, 4 in a row, something like that
Mhm.
there. So that was nice. And the defense was there. But
Right.
again, Toronto was on second night of a back-to-back. And then you have the Bulls the next night who go to Milwaukee and get their ass kicked.
Yeah.
Again, they're on the second night of a back-to-back, but anyways, they didn't look good at all against
Yeah.
Milwaukee. They looked very stagnant,
Mhm.
not very aggressive, sluggish, couldn't score.
Yeah.
They were missing everything. And when you have a guy like Giannis that you have to guard, and we don't really have anybody, Pat Williams does the best he can. He's
Right.
still only a couple games back, so you can't put that all on him.
Yeah.
But yeah, they haven't been great, and I think a lot of it's getting tired towards the end of the season. The injuries, yes, they've caught up with them, but yeah, Zach's knee, I think, is still somewhat of an issue at times.
Mhm.
So it's going to be tough going here into the end. They're going to be in a playoff spot. They're going to have a position here in the playoffs to do something. So we'll see how that goes. Now against the top teams in the league, they haven't been great.
Yeah.
So anything can happen in a series when it comes down to it. So
Right.
you never know. Like last year, the injuries that everyone had, and it came down to the Suns and the Bucks in
Yes.
the finals. Yes, the Bucks are a really good team. The Suns are a really good team too, so they have possibility to be back again. But they didn't. No one thought they were going to be there last year.
No, yeah. And you mentioned it, like the tiredness. That's kind of like my main, not the main reason, I think, but I think it's one of the bigger points of this, right? Gone through full season. This team has been in attack mode all year long, right? I mean, they started off so good. They went and sprinted out of the gun, and look, not to reference the kids thing, but right, the tortoise and the hare thing. Maybe kind of pace yourself a little bit. And look, I'm not saying that what they were doing was wrong. They were getting after teams. I mean, for God's sakes, they're part of the reason why the Nets, I think, are in the situation they're in right now. So kudos to you guys. But obviously, here I think it's wear and tear, right? The injuries have certainly been a thing. Like you said, Patrick Williams now coming back, that's great, but like you said, he's only been with the team a couple of games, and it's Giannis, right?
Right.
And he's very young still. He's still trying to figure out who he is. The Bulls are still trying to figure out what role he plays with this team. So there's a lot more that the Bulls are going to have to evaluate going further in this, right? And I mean, listen, I'm not going to say this is overachieving because I know that's a word that gets used a lot with the Bulls. I think this was an on-point season for them. I mean, we said 41 wins, and we call this a season. They have 41 wins. We just didn't expect them to also come with not as many losses as they have. I mean, they have a winning record. They're right now in the top 6 for a playoff berth, right? So no one saw this coming. Nobody thought that this team was going to be at this level, and it's great to see it. It absolutely is great to see. It's just unfortunate that this is happening at the end, where you kind of need that momentum to kick up.
Yeah, and it just shows that you still need more to compete with those top tier teams.
Absolutely. And obviously we know now Lonzo Ball, he had a setback, unfortunately, so he will possibly take another week, it sounds like, to return to the Bulls. And obviously the hope is for a lot of people that when he gets back, he'll get his 3-and-D style back, right? His point guard, his vision, all that stuff. It's unfortunate that obviously these injuries happened, but there's people out there that are like, well, why did we make these signatures if they were going to get hurt? I've heard, not a lot of people, but I've heard that from a few. And I just go, well, they made the right moves. It's just, it's an injury. It happens. You can't blame the player. It's not like they knew oh yeah, in week 20, my knee's going to give out or my ankle's going to burst.
They weren't, you can't plan for that. You can't expect that to happen.
Exactly. And listen, I know that you can say oh, but they've been injured before. Yes, but not to the extent that you would think oh, these guys are going to be ineffective at some point during the season.
Yeah, they're not injury prone.
Exactly. This is just what happens. This team, I think, is still very good. I think once Lonzo does get back, that does give your kind of leader at the point, gives you your guy on defense as well in the starting lineup, gives you a little bit of that chemistry and that energy back, right? I think it adds more to it adds more to the Bulls. Right. It's not taking anything away. It's just you're getting back a piece that helps kind of flush this team out. It gives it more of that common feel. And who knows, that might be the point where maybe the Bulls do start to rattle it off. So it's tough to call, obviously. It's there's uncertainty. I mean, and when we look at the schedule now, I mean, look, you took the loss against Milwaukee, and like you said, it was a hard loss, right? I mean, stopping Giannis, and now it's unfortunate that now in their next game, Giannis and Middleton aren't playing. I mean, they look like a well-oiled machine. They look like they're ready for the playoffs. They look like they're ready to defend their title. So it's those games are not going to be easy, but you obviously want to win those games because that proves something that you can compete with those guys. Because let's be honest, that's probably going to be a team that you're going to come up against if you make it far enough. I mean, they're right there. So, but out of the rest of the schedule, I mean, you have New Orleans coming up tonight. I mean, this is that 5-game road game thing that we were talking about. It's New Orleans tonight, then you're following it up with Cleveland, and then it follows up with New York and then Washington. So obviously for the Bulls, not exactly a fun run for them. I mean, to start things off, this loss to the Bucks, certainly it could go either way. I'm hoping that this obviously kicks the energy up a little bit. But for you, Drew, I mean, what do you see for the Bulls in this road matchup? How do you feel like this one could potentially play out for this team?
I think they're all very winnable games for the Bulls.
Okay.
DeRozan's out tonight, so that's tough. Mm-hmm. I'm going to have to get more from Zach. He's going to have to step up tonight big time. Yeah. More from Vooch, more from everyone else. All the role players as well. Guys coming off the bench. We need to see more from the bench guys when, they get their chance to get in there and get minutes against teams, a lot of the times, other teams' second-string players. Yeah. You need to score on them because their bench is deep enough and good enough to score on starters in anybody in the NBA. Yeah. So they have those guys there. They need to do it. So I think they can win they could win all these games. But, I've said before, I think Cleveland gives them some trouble with their size. So that's all. Those always seem to be fairly close. New York, who you don't really ever know what you're gonna get from New York anymore. I think overall they play hard because they're a Tibbs coach team. They
Yeah.
usually play hard. So
hmm
um, Washington, after some of their moves, they have some players there, but still, again, it's a winnable game. I
Right.
think. I think they can. I think they can win all of them and go on a little stretch here and have a few games in a row of victories after some tough losses.
Yeah, and luckily for the Bulls, they're ending off on a 5-game home streak after this, which is going to be nice because they obviously, if you look at their record, they're 26-10, I believe it is, at home. So I mean, that's where they've been their best. On the road is where they've really kind of struggled the most. So the Bulls being able to kind of finish at home might mean that they go in with energy. But I agree with you. I mean, the Cleveland game is going to be a tough one because, like you said, with their size and everything. Do we know if Jared Allen is back yet or not? I have not been able
I
to
have
see
not
that.
heard.
Okay, I will try to see if I can get some quick confirmation on that as well while I do this. But as far as I see, like with Cleveland, it is if he's not out there, it helps a lot because obviously they're one of their biggest stars. He's their huge defender. He's the reason why that rim is so well protected. I mean, he's one of the big reasons why this team has turned around so well. It's also one of the reasons why I wanted the Bulls to take a run at him for a big man. It would have been nice, but who knows? You never know. Things can happen. But I mean, New Orleans tonight, I feel like you should win that game. Zion's out for the season. From what TJ was just telling us in the back there, no Brandon Ingram's going to be out there. They're missing some of their stars, so you should blow this team out. I'm talking like a 15-point difference to put everybody in a good mood. Say, okay, we've got to win. Start off on a good streak. Let's get this going, right? Because you can take that momentum and go forward and beat Cleveland. You have to beat the Knicks. It's in Matt. Listen, if Trae Young can single-handedly destroy that Knicks team yet again in the Garden, this Bulls team, hopefully with everybody healthy, can beat them in the Garden as well. And I agree with like what you said with Levine, though. It does seem like his knee is not 100%. And I didn't know he's kind of confirmed that. Like he says he's more around like 80, 85%. He's trying to play through it, which is fine. It's good to have him back. But obviously, if it's painful for him, I'd rather him kind of rest up and hopefully maybe somebody can step in for the Bulls like Io or maybe Kobe White, give them some playing time, give them an opportunity to kind of get themselves on a hot streak. So you go in the playoffs now with somebody on the bench that has a little bit more playing time. And I mean, Washington should be. I mean, it all depends on Bradley Beal at this point with them. If he doesn't go for 40 or something like that, like it's kind of the LeBron effect. If he's not going for 40 plus points, like they're probably not going to get the win. So I agree with you. These are winnable games. This should be if you come away with this as being like a 3-2 stretch, right? And you win 3 out of the 5 games in this. If you can win these 4 games, that means a lot. Going back home in those 5 games, and then you've got the makeup game against Minnesota. That's huge for them. That's a huge opportunity for them to go in the playoffs and say, okay, we've got ourselves some wins. We've secured ourselves an opportunity to be competitive. And if you can come out of it with a stronger record, you might even be a higher seed back in the playoffs. Who knows? Because now we know Miami's kind of fallen in the last 2 games. And if you haven't heard, Miami apparently had a scuffle on the court where Jimmy Butler and Udonis Haslem were yelling at each other. And I guess Spoelstra even threw down his clipboard in anger. So sounds like Miami might be kind of coming apart at the seams. Boston is obviously still on a roll. Philly is Philly at this point. Milwaukee's Milwaukee. The only team that the Bulls really have to worry about at this point is Toronto. They're the only other team that I'd say the Bulls really have to worry about. So if they can come across with wins, I think they secure their spot. But let me ask you this, Drew, obviously, because we are for the Bulls and all their situation. Just real quick, going into the playoffs, obviously, if we get everybody back healthy, what do you just real quick from what you see, what would you say would be your starting 5 for the Bulls on that game 1 series against whoever they would be taking on? Who are those 5 guys that you could see
with everyone healthy?
With everybody healthy, everybody's in the lineup, everybody's good to go. Who are you seeing as the playoff team?
Real quick before we get to that side note, Bradley Beal's been out for the season. He had season-ending wrist surgery, so we don't have to worry about it.
No problem. Yeah,
Positive
absolutely.
news for the Bulls.
Yes.
For another win.
Absolutely.
So for me, starting five, everyone healthy. You have Lonzo at your point guard,
Mhm.
Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, Patrick Williams, and Vucevic.
Okay.
For me, that's where I'm starting, and that's where I'm going with.
Okay, I like that. I'm actually in the same route. Nothing against Tristan Thompson, but I like him. I think coming off the bench more.
Yeah, he's a bench guy. They brought
Absolutely.
they brought him in here not to play a ton of minutes. He
No.
comes in and gets those gritty fouls and
Right.
and maybe piss some people off out there. And he's not expected to be that kind of guy for the
Yeah,
team.
he's a little bit like Dennis Rodman in that kind of sense. Just an annoyer, if you will. Get the rebounds, play some defense.
Rodman is like blows him out of the water.
Right. Yeah. No, by far, but that kind of personality that he's a little,
tries to be
right. He's a little crazy. He's a little rugged, but you like to have that kind of guy. But no, I agree. I'm doing the same lineup, and then I mean the bench is just. I mean, Alex Caruso is going to be the sixth man for me coming off the bench.
Yep.
And I might push Io as like my next guy up. I mean, and then like Kobe White and then Tristan. I mean, and then that's the great thing is that having that bench gives them so much depth, and it gives
Plus,
you a chance.
you have Javonte Green out there. That's a
Javonte
really
Green.
good been starting for this team at times.
Yep.
So you have a lot of options to go to. Guys, defenders coming off the bench that
Yes.
can irritate and high energy as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, we'll see what happens with the Bulls. I would say we're still very, very much positive. And listen, even if this is like I'm not going to say it, but if something does happen where it doesn't turn out the way that maybe we want it to, let's just remember that this is a huge building block moment for the Bulls, right? This is great momentum for them to go into next season. They have proven that they can win. They have now proven that free agents that go there can have success with DeMar DeRozan. This opens up the book tremendously for what the Bulls can do in the next few years.
And they actually have assets for a change that they can use to like trade for a guy as well.
Absolutely. And who knows? There's a ton of guys that could be out there. And as TJ pointed out to us, free agents are going to be available. One in particular that you just can't seem to stop getting me on. So if we need a center, hey, he's restricted free agent.
Yes,
but
I heard it. I know that too, and we have that connection.
Yes.
But I also heard somewhere somebody had a story that they have been in talks about a Supermax.
That's
already with him.
Yeah.
So
I mean, he is
who knows?
one of the better defending big men out there. So
he does everything.
He does.
He does everything.
He's become a better scorer now. So I'm just saying, as a restricted free agent, if you guys want to take a run, I'm okay with playing the music then. I'm okay with that. Certainly, you guys already send it to me a lot. Thank you, Drew. But we'll see what happens with the Bulls, guys. Fingers crossed. I think they can get this win tonight. But let's move on to our next story here for the NBA, shall we? Which we kind of talked about already. The story already kind of broke yesterday, but today it is official. For those who don't know, New York City Mayor Eric Adams has officially announced that the mandate has been lifted in the city of New York so that athletes and performers can now freely go. Unvaccinated athletes and performers can now freely play in their home stadiums, perform in their home theaters, things like that. So obviously a wonderful moment for one team that certainly has been the butt of our jokes and a big topic of our stories for sure, and that is the Brooklyn Nets. And believe it or not, and yes, that means that Kyrie Irving can in fact return, folks. So obviously this is huge because the influence of a guy like Kyrie Irving on this team. There's a lot of speculation on what this means now for Brooklyn. They're not too far out still from being in the play-in tournament, but they're also not too far out for maybe sneaking in there for a chance to be one of the 6 seeds. Who knows?
And now I think that's exactly what's going to happen.
Okay, I was going to ask, what do you think this means getting Kyrie Irving back for the Brooklyn Nets now?
Dude can go out and score 60, okay?
Yeah.
Okay, he can go out and score 60.
Yes, he can.
And guess what? His teammate Durant could go out there and score 60.
Mm-hmm.
What else do we need to say?
I was gonna say,
do you need me to say anything else?
Yeah,
so this is the point now where they're going to get more flow going between the two of them and the rest of the team that all together.
Yeah.
Full starting lineup in, and this is where I see they're at 8 now. They're 38 wins.
Mhm.
They'll pass. I think they'll pass. Pretty sure they'll pass Toronto. They
Yeah.
should pass Cleveland. They might pass the Bulls.
Yeah, they might.
That puts them up in the 5 seed.
Right.
I think. How many games are left?
There are so the Bulls right now are 42 and 30. So for them, there's about 9-10 games
Okay.
left, depending on how you're looking at the season. So
Yeah, I don't think they'll catch Boston.
okay.
But I think they have a very good chance to jump up, and hopefully that means that the Bulls stay there at 6. Or maybe Boston falters a little and they can cruise up past them, but they don't have as much room to go to get there than Brooklyn does. So.
Yeah. No, yeah, absolutely. Well, I found some interesting stats as I've kind of provided for us here, for those who don't know. So, believe it or not, the Nets are actually 8-12 when Kyrie Irving has played this season, and he's played in 20 games. He's averaged about 28.5 points a game, roughly 5.5 assists a game, almost a steal and a half. And surprisingly, his turnovers have actually dropped down quite a bit from where they've been in the past. So he's clearly got. I mean, we've always known he's a good ball handler, but now it seems kind of like in less games, he's had less of a chance to turn the ball over. And listen, like you said, he scores 60 points. He's clearly capable of putting up those big numbers. I mean, what was it last night they played? Him and KD put up together 78 points total.
They handled the balls very well.
Yes, they did.
Yes.
They didn't win that game, but they clearly put up points. They did their job for sure. Also interesting too, when Kyrie and KD have played this season, they are 5-3 together on the court. So they have a winning record together. What I found interesting though is that they are 18-26 against teams above 500, but they are 26-18 against the conference. So I don't know exactly how to take that, because obviously if you're going into the tournament and then you're going into the playoffs, that's all you're facing is teams above 500, right? So that record right there says something, but then you look at the record against the East, and obviously they have a winning record. So I don't know. I'm for me personally, I'm torn looking at those numbers. I agree. I think the flow of Kyrie Irving and KD is going to be there. I do feel like they have a connection with each other. I do feel like there's a bond between them to some degree, at least. I don't know how high it goes, but I mean, whatever frustrations there, I think is now going to go under the water or under the bridge, because
this was their issue.
Yes,
and it's past them.
Exactly. We've now gotten past that. Yeah. We don't have to worry about this anymore. Now we move forward, and I agree. I think that they can make a push. I would imagine they probably make at best the 6th seed. Again, this is maybe Bulls fans, me being hopeful that the Bulls can win enough games to
very hopeful.
Yeah, hopeful that they can hold that 5th spot, or if anything, jump into the 4th spot, if at all possible. That's a difficult task, of course, but if at all possible, that would be wonderful. So but the thing is that still with the Nets, outside of KD and Kyrie, I don't know. I mean, Patty Mills and maybe Blake Griffin?
Drummond's been playing well for them down low.
He has been.
It's been almost like that double-double guy he was back in Detroit.
Yeah. And Seth Curry has been very good at the shooting guard spot. I keep looking at him, and, they kind of threw all this together, and certainly stats-wise, playing-wise, I feel like it can be strong. But when you need those guys to, rely on each other, I don't know if it's going to be there. You know what I mean? You have two guys that obviously are they can take the last shot and they can sink it probably. I just don't know if, when it comes down to it, if they're going to make the right decisions at the right time. You know what I mean?
See, for me, now that they are all back, they have that chance to play all together for the rest of the season.
Mm-hmm.
They've had very minimal time together.
Right.
Very minimal time together. And you have a guy like Kyrie Irving who's won a championship and has a lot of playoff experience.
Mm-hmm.
You have a guy like KD who's won championships and has a lot of playoff experience.
Yes.
And whenever you have a guy like Kevin Durant on your basketball team and playing at his peak, which he does, and then another guy like Kyrie that can do all kinds of things and still score a ton.
Yeah.
You always have a shit. You're always going to have a chance.
Yeah,
they're always going to have a chance in the playoffs, no matter who they're playing. And I think I think given this last stretch of time together, that's going to be enough. And I think with all the other pieces, Seth Curry still has playoff experience as well.
True.
So that's a guy coming off the bench that's been there before. Drummond's, whatever.
Yeah.
But he's been playing well.
Right.
So to me, it's like I don't think that maybe their bench might hurt some, but
Right.
I think they have enough to at least in the East make
Yeah.
a push for this.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, speaking of playoff experience, there's Patty Mills is the guy who
Yeah.
has the most playoff experience of all those guys right now. And he has been wildly effective coming off the bench for them as a point guard and even starting at times too. I mean, he's gone for 30, 40 points from time to time. So you could be right, is that these little amount of games might be enough to be able to bring the chemistry together and put this team in a good position. So for Bulls fans' sake, I hope they aren't. But for Brooklyn Nets fans, I hope they aren't. Just
Plus, I
because.
forgot they got Goran Dragic.
Yeah.
They still have LaMarcus Aldridge. They've got guys that
They got a
can play
decent roster.
play some roles. Yeah,
Yeah.
they have a decent roster that, again, Dragic was playoff experience.
Right.
So they have James Johnson too come in and play defense.
Yeah. I guess my biggest thing is,
They have Ben Simmons.
Yeah. Try to avoid that. Well, if he
we
ever
didn't talk
plays,
about him once all through that, and I just had to ruin it for you.
It's fine.
I just waited.
I
Till
mean,
the
look,
end.
he's got a herniated disc. It sounds like he's going to be out for the rest of this season for what
They're
it
not
is.
counting on it.
I don't think so. I mean,
Plus,
listen, I don't really know if they actually need him or not.
If he comes back, he's not going to be able to have the time or
No.
the ability to make enough of an impact.
Right, and I still don't. They have never even said where he's going to play.
Right.
And that's always been my biggest thing. Where's he going to play? So, I mean, I think my just biggest thing with them is, all right, who's the guy that can help kind of KD and Kyrie kind of hold this team together? Because it just, out of all those guys, maybe Seth Curry is maybe the best of the bunch. I don't know, but it just feels like in that kind of situation, you need that third guy to kind of maybe be there. Again, it's nothing against KD and Kyrie. Like, they can clearly get open and make plays happen. It's just when you need that third guy to be there to make that play, who's that guy going to be? I guess it would be Seth at this point because God knows it ain't going to be Ben Simmons, folks. All right, and that's going to end it for the NBA talk on that note. Sorry, Ben. You just
He's not sorry.
yeah, I'm not sorry. So obviously let us know, guys. We want to hear from you. What do you think about the Bulls situation? How do you think it's going to play out here at the end? And also let us know, what do you think the Nets are going to do? How do you think Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant are going to do in these last few stretches now that Kyrie gets to play at home in the Barclays Center? Will he get booed? Will he get cheers? Who knows? But let us know, guys, in the comment section down below. We want to hear from you. And when we do come back here, folks, that's right, NCAA Tournament time is here. We're in the Sweet 16. We're going to break down all these games right here
It already started.
on the X-Bomb Sports live show. And welcome back here, ladies and gentlemen, to the X-Bomb Sports live show. I'm still Andrew Valentin.
Wait, where are we?
What?
I don't know.
You threw me off, man.
Yeah, it
Thank you.
worked.
I'm still here with the elegant Mr.
Yeah, that was
Druga.
really. Come on, throw your word of the
I'm
day
trying,
calendar out.
man.
There's nothing elegant about that.
I'm trying, man. All right, I could have went with adorable. You want me to go with adorable? I
Nah.
could do adorable. All right. Drew Gullam's still here with me, folks. We
Yep.
just talked about the NBA with the
He's here.
Bulls, the Bulls and the Nets, all that good stuff. So obviously, if you want to check that out, make sure to check that first part out. But ladies and gentlemen, before we get into this too, our boy King B Mac is always coming in with some hot stuff. King B Mac says that Cleveland is the only team, I guess, that concerns him. I understand that. Although, again, I've just found out Jared Allen is still out.
That
So
definitely helps.
that
things.
helps them out a lot. So hopefully Vooch will not get bullied
Yeah, they
by Markkanen.
that definitely gives the Bulls the edge going into that game because they don't have what was the biggest issue for them against Cleveland. I think is Jared Allen down low and the defense he plays.
Yes, and then he also added that they should be able to handle the rest of the schedule and build themselves a little momentum. Totally agree. So I totally agree with that. So thank you, King B Mac, as always, man. We love you so much. And like we said, man, get your butt in here so we can talk some sports with you, amigo.
In person.
Yeah, absolutely. You got good takes, man. Or surprise us like you did on Blow the Whistle on the radio when you scared us and you were like, oh, there he is. So as always, appreciate it, man. But NCAA Tournament, folks, it has literally just started. So Drew,
Gonzaga's winning 9-8.
they are winning 9-8. So you ready to hit this?
Yes.
So we already just said Gonzaga right now leading 9-8. I'm sure the score is going to change at some point. But Gonzaga, Arkansas right now, the favor is Gonzaga by 9.5. The over/under was sitting at 155 on the dot. Drew, how do you see this one playing out?
I think Gonzaga is going to take it. I think Arkansas is a really good team. They're a good defensive team, but I don't think they're quite there with Gonzaga.
Okay.
So I'm going to take Gonzaga to win. I think it's going to be closer than the 9.5. So I'm going to say 3.
Okay.
I think it's going to be closer still. And I'm going to take the under.
All right. I like that. I'm actually going the opposite on you at this. I'm going with Arkansas.
I know you like them.
I like this Arkansas team. They're really athletic. I like their scoring ability. They've got 4 guys who score in double digits. Nothing against Gonzaga. They've got a lot of length on it, but I feel like even with Arkansas, they don't have the true big-time 7-footer, but I feel like because Holmgren is only like 195 pounds, they can kind of bully him a little bit. But score's still 98 for those who are keeping up on it. But I'm going with Arkansas on it.
I'm watching it.
Okay, cool. All right. So I feel like Arkansas can pull it out. I'll say by 2. Again, close game. Might even go into OT. This is going to be a really good game.
Let's see a buzzer beater, maybe.
Yeah, I think so. Something like that.
Has there been any?
Not recent. No, it's either been keeping it close to like the last minute, or it's been blow them out of the water kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So, but I'm going with Arkansas on it, and I think this could hit the over. I know we're 15 minutes into this thing. I think it can easily hit the over. These two teams turn it on every time in the second half, like flipping the big switch. Really, it should be interesting to watch. All right, next. We've got number 3, Texas Tech against number 2, the Duke Blue Devils. Drew, how you feeling this one goes as Texas Tech is favored by just a point, but the over-under is set at 137. What are you thinking?
I'm going to take Duke.
Okay.
I think they want to win. They want to win for their coach, for sure. I think they're a very good offensive team. They have a lot of talent. Yes, Texas Tech plays some good, solid defense. Yeah. But I think in the end, Duke is the better team, and I think they will win. I'm going to say, again, keep it close. I'm going to say 2 points. And I'm going to take the under. I'm going to take the under on this one.
Okay.
I am.
All right, I like that going on the under on that one. I think that's very good. This game comes down to if AJ Griffin, their guard, is playing or not. I believe he may be going. I'm not sure. He does make a difference for this team. Obviously, Paolo Banchero is amazing. Dude looks like a top 5 pick. He's gonna be a great player when he hits the NBA. He's a dominator. I do like Texas Tech in this though, and I think they can play that kind of defense where you either wall off I feel like you should wall off the rest of the team and let Paolo try to beat you on his own. And look, the guy can score like 30, 40 easily. But if the rest of the team is only scoring like minimal points, I think that Texas Tech can win this thing. So I'll take Texas Tech on this. I'll take Texas Tech by 1.5. I'll up it to 1.5 on it. And I'll take the under 2. I feel like this is going to be a very kind of slug it out kind of match. a lot of patience, a lot of to wait for your shot kind of thing. But Duke is still a very good team, and they want to win it for Krzyzewski. That's for sure. They want that coach to go out with a bang, and who could blame him, honestly? All right, next we've got number 5 Houston against number 1 Arizona. So Arizona 1.5 point favorites in this thing. The over/under is at 45.5. Drew, Houston, Arizona. Who are you picking on this one, man?
I'm going to take Houston.
Okay.
With the upset. Houston's played some great basketball with their top player being out for a lot of the season.
Yeah.
And it's like they haven't missed a beat.
Yeah.
They played Illinois really tough, and in the end, like, pulled away from them pretty good. So, while Arizona's a very good team as well, that's why they have the number 1 seed. I think Houston brings a lot of energy, and I mean, you saw their head coach in the locker room with his shirt off running around.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool.
Good old
But
Calvin Sampson.
I think they stretch this run out for one more game here maybe, and they get to win a close game. I'm gonna say 1.5 for Houston, and I'm gonna take the over here.
Okay. All right. I like that. Yeah. I mean, I've never even brought up the fact that their star player has been out, but this team plays with so much resiliency. I mean, they've got great chemistry, and they returned a lot of their starters other than like Justin Grimes, who obviously went to the draft. If he would have stayed, this team probably would have been like a 2 seed, maybe. Who knows?
Well-coached team, too.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, Calvin Sampson has full control of this roster. They feel like the running rebels, if you will, right? They run up and down the court. They're fast. They're strong. Very good unit. I've got them against Arizona. Nothing against Arizona. They just feels like they went on cruise control towards the end there, unfortunately. They just got a lot of very easy kind of like, of course you're going to win this game. You're Arizona. Got a lot of talent. I like Houston on this as well. I'm going to take Houston by 7 in this thing, I think. I'm going to give
7,
I'm going to say 7. I think Houston's got a great chance to blow this team out if possible. So, I'm going to say 7, and I will go with the over on this one. I will definitely go with the over. Next. And this has been, by the way, folks, these are all the Thursday games we're doing in this first 4 games. But next, folks, is the game that obviously of one of us is very anticipated. It is the dark horse that nobody saw coming, I don't think. Number 11, Michigan.
Almost didn't even make the tournament.
Oh, yeah. By the way, I do give props to, I forget what player it was that was like, to all the guys that said we should have been in the NIT, hope you like watching us from your couches as we go into the Sweet 16. Very well said. But it's number 11, Michigan, against number 2, Villanova. Right now, Villanova is favored by 5 points. They've got a 135 over-under in this game. So, Drew, Villanova, Michigan. I know, I feel like I know where you might be going with this, but I have to ask anyways. Who are you picking?
That would be if I picked with my heart.
Yes, it all depends on you, of course.
I'm making the smart call here.
Okay.
Who I think's actually going to win the game. I want, by all means, yes, I want Michigan to win. I hope I'm wrong.
Right.
I hope I'm wrong here, and Michigan just kicks their ass. That would be great. But I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah.
I think Villanova's the more complete team. They've done it for a long period of time throughout the season, where Michigan, like I said, almost didn't make the tournament.
Yeah.
Yes, they have been playing well, not necessarily for full games in the first 2 rounds, but if they can put the full game together, they're going to be right there with Villanova because they have players to do it. And a coach that coaches them very well, along with Jay Wright on the other side coaching Villanova, okay? So I think Villanova in the end wins. I'll say the 5 points.
Okay.
No, we're gonna give Michigan a little more credit. They're gonna keep it close.
Okay.
I'm gonna go 3.
All right.
Okay. And they're gonna have a last-second shot and miss it.
Ouch, man.
I know.
That's a hurt one.
Bummer, but yeah. And then I'm gonna also take the under on this one.
Okay, I like that. I'm going with Villanova on this too.
Of course you would. Sure you would.
Sorry, Drew. I'm
just
sorry.
kidding.
No, listen.
I don't expect you to pick.
Well, yeah. Well, you're gonna be surprised on one of them. Trust me. I'm saying Villanova on this. Listen, Jay Wright's a really good coach. Juwan Howard, I think, is still a tremendous coach. The fact that he's gotten Michigan to where they are right now And you got to remember, this was a team that was ranked in the top 10 at one point. They obviously fell off.
Before the season started, they were ranked 4th in the
Right,
nation.
exactly.
And then lost 11 games.
Yeah, exactly. So, but they have number 4 in the nation talent,
Right.
and it's showing. Like, these guys are coming out, they're fighting hard, they're playing well, they're playing a good inside-out game. Like, they know how to pick apart their teams. So I think Villanova will have their hands filled with them. I will take the 5 points on it, but I do think Villanova is going to come out on the win of this. But I still expect this to be a very good game between the two of them. They're two very, very good coaches, hard-fought coaches, right? And two very good, hard-fought teams. I like their styles. I think they match up well against each other. So, but I'll take Villanova on it, and I will say I might go with the over on this. I may go with the over. This could be a high-scoring game. This could be.
Michigan's played some pretty good defense. So
yeah,
they've played against the first 2 rounds on defense, which was nice to see.
Yeah.
So I expect that to continue, even get ramped up a little, having some time off here.
Right.
Going up against, being discredited and an underdog in a game where everyone's saying Villanova's going to win and should beat them. Go out there and prove them wrong.
Absolutely. And it's going to be a fun one, folks. That's for sure. All right. Let's do these last 4, shall we, Drew?
Yes, we shall.
There we go. So these are the Friday games. So to kick it off first, we got number 3 Purdue against the true underdogs of this, the number 15 St. Peter's Peacocks. You didn't know that was in fact
I'm a peacock captain. You gotta let me fly.
I knew it. That is exactly the kind of soundbite we use for the radio show too. Just so you know.
Fantastic.
Credit to David Dykstra on that one, and I'm so glad you said that. Thank you. I'll let him know just so he can be actually extra happy on that.
Cut that clip for him.
There you go. Oh, wow. That was great. So right now, Purdue actually, though, favored by a whopping 12.5 points on this one. The over-under is sitting right now at 135 on the dot. Drew, Purdue, St. Peter's. Can the upset happen? Who you picking?
Sure, it could happen. I don't think it's going to.
Okay.
They had their emotional wins.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. They played really well.
Yeah.
I think this is a round where they go down.
Okay.
I'm gonna say 10 points. I think they keep it a little closer, but in the end, Purdue overtakes them, and I'll actually take the over on this
one. All right, I like that.
Is this a surprise?
Yeah, no, this isn't a surprise. Okay. I'm also gonna take Purdue on this well-rounded team, veteran team. Jaden Ivey is incredible, by the way. That kid is studly, and Zach Edey is a big dude. Just to say the least. This team is great. I'm taking them by 8 points, and I, too, am going to take the over because this St. Peter's team shoots the 3 very well. So expect a lot of high scoring in this game. And
if they're hot, they have a very good chance to win.
Very true.
If they're not, any team going in, you saw what happened with Iowa. Yeah. Why did they lose? They couldn't shoot the 3. Yep. What do they do best? 3-point shooting team.
Absolutely.
When you can't do what you do best, you're in trouble.
Yeah,
in the tournament for sure.
Just ask Virginia what happened with UMBC. Shall we not forget? the brutal loss. Well, next, folks, we have number 8 UNC versus number 4 UCLA. UCLA is favored by 2.5 points. The over/under is at 141.5. Drew, UCLA, UNC. Who you picking?
UNC's your team, right?
Yeah.
Why don't you go first then?
Look,
say what you got to say about him. Get it out and then pick them.
UCLA, I love the team with all my heart. I will ride or die with the Tar Heels, but I'm taking UCLA on this one. I know UNC has looked really good in these last 2 games, right? 90-plus points, incredible stuff. Clearly, this team, I think, is a lot better than what they showed in the regular season. But UCLA, a lot of veterans. Again, we just talked about playoff experience, right, with the NBA. These guys, full 5 starters back. Ju Zhang is a monstrous. He's a star. If you need a guard out there, by all means, folks, go for it. So, Bulls, if you're looking to add more guard power to yourself, by all means, go for it. But I'm taking UCLA on this. I'm gonna say they cover the 2.5 points. I think that the 2.5 points is right on the dot, and I think this will go on the over. I think UNC is gonna fight, but I think UCLA is gonna have a little bit better. They're just going to be a little bit better on the offense. So, yeah, there you go, folks. Hey, happy, everybody? Happy Duke fans and everybody out there? I didn't pick UNC. I went with my went with my head, not my heart. Okay,
Hey, me too.
exactly. But Drew,
Yeah.
who are you picking, man?
I'm with you. I think having all 5 starters back from last year
Says something.
yeah, it's a big deal.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes down to tournament time and in crunch time in
Mhm.
these big games. It's win or go home. So
Yeah.
you don't have a lot of room for error, and you see the teams that make the most errors are the ones that typically lose in
Yes.
the tournament. So I think UCLA is the team to win. I'm with you on the points, and I'm going to take the under.
Okay.
Taking
all right.
a lot of unders.
Yeah, this isn't this is a weird year where it's like either like again we just said like everybody's either blowing each other out or taking it to the very last minute,
Right.
and it's low scoring games. So we'll see. I think this will be one of a very good game. This could be an OT game kind of thing. That's how I'm feeling about this one. All right. Well, next we've got number 4 Providence. They are taking on the number 1 Kansas Jayhawks. Kansas, believe it or not, is only favored by 7.5 on this, and they right now have a over under of 141.5. Drew, Kansas, Providence. Who are you picking on this one?
I'm taking Kansas. I think they have the best shot to make it to the championship game in their end, and I think I don't think they're just gonna roll through Providence.
Yeah.
But I think they'll win. I think we'll say 7 points.
Okay.
And again, I'm gonna take the under.
Okay. All right. I think Kansas is going to win this one pretty easily. Nothing against Providence. They've played really well, but Kansas, I mean, that man, Agbaji, is a real deal guard. That guy's going to be a top pick. I like Kansas a lot in this. I think I'm going to give them a 10-point win on this one. I feel like I have to at this point. It feels too good to be true for Kansas at this point. So I'm going to say Kansas by 10. And I will also go with the under on this. They're just a really well-rounded team. That's the thing that I'm looking at. They're just
Right.
They got a lot of Bill Self is just really good at coaching that group and
Keeping everybody calm. You
Yep.
don't see him going crazy a lot.
No,
So
even though he drives me nuts.
Yeah.
I'm not if you're gonna say who is a coach that you dislike, I actually dislike Bill Self more than I dislike John Calipari. And I know there's a lot of people that don't like John Calipari. By the way, RIP to the Kentucky Wildcats for losing to St. Peter's. Just because we didn't get a chance to. All right, and next it is underdog fight in the Windy City. That's right, the Hurricanes and the Cyclones in the Windy City. Boy, that's perfect. Talk about a perfect matchup, honestly. Iowa State, number 11, against number 10 Miami Hurricanes. Miami favored by 2.5 points. The over/under is at 133 on the dot. Drew, Iowa State, Miami. Who are you picking on this one, man?
I picked against Iowa State last round, and I'm not going to do it again.
Okay.
Because they've looked really good.
They have.
They have looked really good. They've
Mhm.
got some players that are scoring big time
Oh,
for
yeah.
them and playing as a team. So I like what they've done. I thought they've looked really good doing it.
Mhm.
Not to discredit Miami and what they've done, but
Right.
I think Iowa's the team that's going to keep it going.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna take Iowa State here by 4.
Okay.
And I'm going to go under again.
Okay. All right.
Too many.
No,
Most of them are unders.
I know.
but
Yeah. Well, I mean, it better safe than sorry.
Yeah, I
right?
think I think more games have hit under than
Yeah, it feels
on the
like
over,
it.
So
Definitely feels like it.
no, just no big deal. Michigan's up 5-1.
There you go. Yeah, Michigan's up
No
5-1.
big deal.
And those who want the update on the score, Gonzaga's up 22-17 against Arkansas. Come on, Razorbacks, kick it up a notch. Let's go.
Yeah, they had Arkansas had a 3 to go ahead, 17-16, and then it's been all Gonzaga since
Oh,
so far.
jeez. Here we go. Here we go. Gonzaga's going to do it, aren't they? All right. I'm going with Miami on this, actually. I feel like this is going to be a very, Miami's offense versus Iowa State's defense. Again, these are two teams who are returning a lot of starters, right? A lot of vets. Iowa State, juniors and seniors really kind of roam this team as they usually has with the Cyclones. I like this team. Like you said, they've been scoring a lot of points, but they've been playing really good, counterattack on the defense, get the steal, fast break points, things like that, quick jump shots, three-pointers. But I like Miami's size and I like their speed. That there's something about that South Florida basketball that I like, right? I mean, look, they produce really good athletes. A lot of those guys are some local kids, a couple of from out-of-state guys that come come in, but they're all very quick and very tough and agile. So I like Miami. I'll take Miami by 1 on this thing, on the points. I'll take Miami by 1, and I also will take the under on this. I feel like this will be a quick scoring game, but like at the end, it'll be a lot more defense shutting down each other rather than trying to outscore one another. So that's going to do it for the NCAA tournament, folks, for the Sweet 16. Obviously, let us know who you're picking for these wins. Who do you think is going to be the outcome in today's games? Who do you think is going to be outcome in tomorrow's games? Comment below. Let us know what you guys think. And that's going to do it for the show as well. So
Michigan's up 7-4.
Well, now they're up 7-6. So
Okay. All right.
I'm sorry. Don't.
Okay.
Please don't hurt me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Drew, as always, I'm always
winning.
I'm always glad to have you here. Even though
UNC's not winning, are they? No, they're not.
They haven't even played yet.
Uh-huh. My point exactly.
It's always I'm glad to have you here, even though sometimes I drive you crazy, and clearly you want to snap my neck impulsively.
Never.
But thank you, I appreciate that. Yeah. Why did I have a feeling that was gonna happen? I'm like, is he gonna hit the bear or something? It was great. But please let them know where they can. Where they can find you.
Right here.
All that good stuff.
Damn it, right here. Whipping bears across the room on Wednesdays and Thursdays.
That was good. That was very good. I love that.
Yeah,
wow.
but if you want to check me out on social media, you can find me on no, I can't even speak now. You can find me on Instagram at d.gwil25 and Facebook at Drew Gwillem.
Absolutely. Guys, make sure to go follow him, ask him any questions, anything like that. NFL, all sports-wise, really. Man is very well-rounded, so anything you got for him. Even hockey, too, you would say?
Not quite as much, but I do enjoy hockey.
All right. Well, I mean,
I indulge.
There you guys go. So even with hockey, man, you give him the questions. And if not, I'm sure he'll redirect you to Tom McKinney and or Brandon Januska. Also, too, real quick, I want to make sure, shout out to our boy TJ Knack here in the back as well, guys. Follow him at Knack300, right, on Instagram. Make sure to go follow him on there. So just want to give a shout out because obviously TJ's always with us here. We will get you up here, dude, because we're going to have to talk hockey. So we got to, because the NHL's Stanley Cup playoffs are coming up soon, so we'll talk some hockey for sure. But guys, make sure to go follow TJ there. And if you guys want to follow me, I'm at Boom Crew Captain on Instagram. That's where you guys can follow me, yell at me, whatever you want to do at this point. But obviously, make sure to like and follow our Facebook page. We want to hear from you guys on that as well, so you guys can get the updates for when we go live on the show. So make sure to go follow us there on our Facebook page. That's facebook.com/TeamXBombSports. Also, too, make sure to hit us up on our YouTube where we do stream. That's right. That's XBomb Sports on YouTube where we're streaming right now. You guys can find us every Wednesday and Thursday, 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. Central Time. That's where we go live on for the XBomb Sports live show. So make sure to catch us there. Also, too, hit us up on our social media at XBomb Sports on Instagram and Twitter. We want to hear from you guys there. And if you have any questions or comments, anything like that, you can always email us as well at xbsportsofficial@gmail.com. We want to hear from you guys from there as well. I know you guys got a lot of questions. We'll answer your questions as soon as we get the open opportunity. So we have Blow the Whistle. If you guys don't know, Blow the Whistle is an awesome radio show that myself, David, and Tyler do on Mondays on sportstownchicago.com. Every Monday, 2 to 4 p.m. Central Time. Check us out there. And check us out on the TV side here as well. We'll be going live on Wednesdays for the time being, while some classes do some stuff on Tuesdays and Thursdays. But you can catch us live on Wednesdays at 2:30 to 3:30 p.m. Central Time. We'll be going live here on the YouTube channel, here on XBomb Sports as well. Also, too, make sure to check out Monday Motivation with Hannah B, done by our very own Hannah Brummer on Spotify, Odyssey, and iHeartRadio. It's a wonderful podcast that keeps you motivated and positive throughout the day, so check that out. And also, too, check her out at 102.3 XLC, the afternoon drive, 3 to 7 p.m. Central Time. You can check her out there live on the radio. You can comment to her. By the way, Hannah, too many commercials, not enough Hannah. That is a statement by our man, TJ Knacker, as she's going live on it. Drew.
I have an update.
Do we have an update?
Deshaun Watson update.
Mm-hmm.
The, Brazoria County Grand Jury has declined to indict Browns quarterback Deshaun Watson.
Okay, all right. So it sounds like...
DA's office confirms.
Okay. So it sounds like Deshaun Watson will not be handling another grand jury. So there you go, folks. That resolved itself relatively quickly from us reporting it at the beginning. So we've come full circle here, folks. And also, too, yeah, it really,
Pretty much.
really did come full circle. Also, too, guys, make sure to check out the parlay. If you guys don't know, it's our guys Tony Lopez and former Chicago Bull and professional boxer Kendall Gill, as they do a wonderful podcast on the parlay that they talk about everything in combat sports, boxing, MMA, things like that. They just dropped season 4, so go check it out at theparlay.com. And if you want any of your updates for your fantasy football, as the new season is soon to be upon us, and you need to get ready for that next fantasy football season, you can check out Big Football Guys on YouTube. They do live shows with them. Myself and David Dykstra, we produce their shows as JC and Dustin. Talk everything that you need for your fantasy football needs. You can find it again at Fake Football Guys on YouTube. And that is going to do it for our show, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all so much for watching. Thank you all so much for listening. And as always, much love. Peace out, Boom Crew.